Okay, cool.
We are live. Yay.
Great. Hello, audience.
With our big 13 views. Taken right off.
It
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I will say the second half of this book was better for me, and I think it has a lot.
Oh,
I
yeah.
still fucking it's still a piece of shit. I think it has to do with fucking Violet and Zeta not being together as much. I genuinely believe it's because they were fucking separated, and I didn't have to fucking hear her bitch ass like every single fucking minute saying, "Oh my man." I'm so glad I didn't have to hear that this half of the book. But it was still shit. It was still shit. Like it's still, you get bits and pieces of something. It's still not a cohesive story. The characters are fucking lame. Penelope, I don't know her name. Penelope, whatever. Like that was the most interesting character. That's my favorite character. I don't care if she's evil. I don't care if she's stabbing people. I want that bitch to win. To be completely honest, I wanted Mira to die, and I wanted Violet to die. I wanted everybody to fucking die off in the second half of the book. But when it lasts, anyways. So yeah, like I really genuinely feel like the second half of the book was a lot better. I think for me, it's just like we're still missing all that information. We're on these aisles. I don't know what I have no idea. I had no idea that like I'm trying to gather my thoughts. I still have no idea what the world is like. Like I still don't have a cohesive map in my head. It's just like because we didn't get that in the beginning, and now it's coming in the third book. Exactly like what I fucking sent you guys in that TikTok. It's coming in the third book. It's just like thrown at you, and you don't have enough time to fucking like figure it out and kind of just like build out this world and understand like what's going on. Like you genuinely do not, and it's so fucking frustrating. There's islands? I didn't fucking know. How big is Navarre? How big is this other place? What is this? What is that? Why don't you guys fucking talk? Why is there not magic everywhere? Was magic always here? Like, there's just like so many open-ended questions, and there's like, oh great, like here's a little bit more world building with like no backstory and not enough world building enough for you to kind of generate it in your head and have a better understanding of what the fuck is going on. And it's so frustrating. It's like so frustrating. I still hate Violet and Zayden, and I wholeheartedly believe that if she's this badass bitch the way that everybody fucking describes her, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just not a lover girl, I would choose the many over one. Don't put me in presidency. I would choose the many over one every fucking time. Like I don't give a shit. I'd rather him die and save everybody else every single fucking time. And I understand like that's Violet, but you can't tell me that she's a strong-headed like fucking for my people. I believe in this and I'm gonna save them and everything. And she's still gonna fucking choose her stupid ass bitch man over everybody else. Like I just don't fucking get it. Like I literally don't get it. And I don't feel like that's a fucking head character. I don't feel like that's the main character I want. I don't want some man. I don't want a girl who's gonna choose her fucking man over everybody else. Like I genuinely don't. Like what's the point? What's the fucking point? Them getting engaged, like when she wakes up.
That was super random. And
Like
super
what?
stupid.
Like that was so fucking stupid. My favorite scene was a cake scene. My favorite scene was a cake scene when Riddick was like eating it. And they were like, "You're gonna die." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And like when the chef throws the knife and he's just like, I'm good, girl. Like you worry about yourself. Anyways, all of that to say overall, I don't remember much of it. I really like the second half of the book. I didn't really like it, but it was much more enjoyable than the first half, and because I think they were separated, and we got a lot more of like individual characters and individual like character building versus just like hearing about this goddamn fucking relationship the entire fucking time. Like, I'm over it. I'm over it. Honestly, I want him to die. I want her to die, and I'd be very happy with the series because at least at that point in time, we can kind of like figure out what the fuck is going on. I just still don't get it. Like, I still think it's a fucking shitty book. I still was just like, okay, now what? You know what I mean? I honestly would have been happy if Mira died. It would have been at least like a lot more interesting than whatever the fuck this is. So more will come to me after you guys speak. But the bottom line is just like I need Violet to die off. And I need your Rebecca Yarros to just like stop at book 3. Honestly. And if we get another book within a year,
I know.
No. Do you know she's like I just saw a New York Times article. She's had the like fastest selling like fantasy book in like the last 20 fucking years or something like that. I don't particularly know. And I was just like, and it was brain
Jeez.
rot. Brain rot. It's infecting everybody because this book sucks. Anyways. Go ahead.
You want to go, Manel, or shall I?
Okay, yeah, I can go. Wait, why isn't my phone charging? Oh, it's charging now. Okay. Um, I have a lot of things to nitpick on, and they're very minute details, but also it's because I don't get it. I don't understand a lot of things. I'm left with more questions than answers, and we're on book three, and it shouldn't have to be this way. We're on book three, so I should have more answers than questions at this point. But I agree with Julia with what she said about Violet picking Zayden and Zayden picking her. That doesn't make sense to me, and I can't help comparing that to Sarah J. Maas because Aelin and Rowan and Reese and Feyre, like
Mhm.
you can obviously tell that they love each other, but they wouldn't put their country or their territory or their region or whatever about them. I mean, over their significant others, right? Like obviously they fought for their own country. They didn't say, oh no, you know what, I'm just going to save Rowan and call it a day. And that's what made the whole story so interesting. I mean, it's not a fair comparison, but also, like, you know, her picking Zayden and Zayden saying, oh, my priority is Violet doesn't make any sense. Like,
You're accepted to a fucking war college and you can be that much of a fucking like bitch. Like that's what I
right?
don't fucking get. Like that's not war college mentality to me. Don't send
Yeah,
me to war college. I'll end up a dictator because I would absolutely not have that fucking mentality. Anyways, sorry,
I
Mel.
think
the whole
also
point.
too, like the most annoying part of it, because I was trying to think of it a little bit, and like, and kind of like what you said, Manel. If you think about like the main characters in the Sarah J. Maas books, like oftentimes in the heat of the moment, they'll do the
Mhm,
bad thing and use, and their emotions will get over them, and they'll pick
mhm.
their friends over the greater good. And to me,
Yeah,
that makes more sense. And we see that all
right.
over the place and everything. Like, that makes
Yeah,
more sense. What's mostly annoying is that they're just declaring it as they're going when there is no danger. Like, hey, if danger comes, I don't care about you people. That's like so
correct.
weird to say that out
Exactly.
loud over and over and
What's
over
even
Yeah,
again.
more like what's even weirder is that everybody knows this. Because if I was Rhiannon,
Yeah.
I was Imogen, I was Mira,
You'd
I
hear that
would
and,
never
like, I don't want to be with
fucking
you
help
then,
her.
dude.
I would do everything in my power to separate them. Because you're sure as shit not gonna fucking save your bitch ass man and leave the rest of us to die, ho.
yeah.
Absolutely fucking not. I would
Well,
never support that shit. She would have been kicked out.
exactly.
I would have
Or
killed her
pick a
myself.
different leader then. Like she is not a
Exactly.
leader. If she's
Right.
gonna pick the one over many, she's not a leader.
Fuck
That's not
no,
the leadership
no. You're the
mentality.
leader. You can do this. You and then here's the thing. Everybody knows she can't make the decision because every time she's thrust into these positions where she has to make the decision, everybody's just like, "You can't do it. You can't do it." So then why the fuck do you have her do it? Like, why? Why even give her the fucking
Exactly.
option? Dexter, I'm so riled up. Dexter left the house.
Sounds
Oh
about
my
right.
gosh, poor Dexter. I just the ending also where she pulled a surprise engagement. That's straight out of SJM. Like that's just the plain copy and paste. She's done that so many times, and now we had this surprise wedding, and you're like, oh, okay, this happened in Akota book two, and it happened in the book before Kingdom of Ash. It's just she's just copying people at this point, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, nobody saw this coming." Actually, we did see it coming because from the very beginning, Zayden has been saying, "Oh, I'm gonna make you Duchess," and yeah, she's my Duchess or whatever. Like, so it's not that big of a surprise. It's just that she's copied the concept. It's not like SJM trademark or whatever, but she's done it so many times. It's like her trademark
I have a
now.
question, because like to me it was like a little bit different, but maybe I just heard it wrong. Because I'm not gonna lie, like I said, I had a very strict policy. This bad boy was on 2.5, and even when I stopped paying attention, I never paused once, like never
Yeah.
freaking once. Um, I thought that it sounded like even Violet didn't know that she got engaged,
No,
right?
she didn't.
She
She
did,
didn't.
and then had her memory erased. Imogen erased her
Oh,
memory, and
is
so like
that?
we don't know why any of
Oh,
that happened.
oh, an Imogen. Okay, okay. So she.
Yeah,
Okay. Because
and it's
I
like,
thought that I thought that it literally happened without her knowledge, and I'm like, with like marriage rape. Like I don't know. Okay, got it. So they chose to do it, and then but she doesn't remember. That's even more
yeah,
stupid. But got
So
it.
fucking stupid because like when she was at the end, she was just like, "Oh." he was like trying to make sure that everything was gonna be okay if like he turned, and that's why he engaged like they got engaged, and I was just like, sorry. And I was like, okay, great, great, great,
If anything, he's
great.
put more of a target on her back now by making her
Please,
Duchess.
I hope she has a target on her fucking back. And I hope somebody has really good aim because, anyways.
Okay, so I have more questions. Like,
Okay.
Violet's dad's password protected notebook, like what did we really learn through that? Like all he did was send her to the island, and then what? Like we didn't really learn the full story of her dedication. We just know that oh, her dad took her and partially dedicated her, but apart from that, we know nothing of that, right? And then the second thing is why did Zayden's mom make an appearance? Like we didn't learn anything about her either. Like
Oh
okay,
yeah.
his mom is there, she exists, she has her own family, but that's it. Like she was just like a guest uh, appearance, and apart from that, nothing. It would have been cool. Like that contract thing was actually pretty cool. Like the contract for like a certain amount of time, the marriage contract. That part was a novel concept. I like that part of it, but nothing.
Yeah.
What else? And then Julia's favorite theophany. We
Theophany, I
learned
think
that
it is.
okay,
Yeah.
she was a high priestess. So what? What about that is important? We didn't really learn much about her also. Like nothing. She was the most interesting character, but nothing. Nothing. And Dana going and then coming back again. Like she left, Violet was depressed, then she came back. Like what was the reason? Oh my gosh. And then is Zayden full Venin now? Is that what happened? Like he like channeled and now he's like at 99% Venom, but he's still like holding on. Is that what happened? I didn't really understand. Who was the
And so
second person?
when Zayden went full nuke, who did he
Yeah,
kill? Did he do any friendly fire? I couldn't tell.
I also couldn't
Because
tell.
because
I was
because if he went full nuke but he only hit the enemy, like why would he be like an enemy and run away? I assumed because he exiled himself, I assumed he killed friendly people, but I didn't understand. Like I didn't understand any of that basically.
I thought he ran away because he stole dragons and dragon eggs. That was my understanding.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess I heard that too. So that was why. It wasn't the
Yeah.
nuke. The nuke was a good thing. I thought I thought that felt like the nuke was the catalyst, whatever the hell he did at the
Huh.
end. But I guess that
I
was a
don't know.
good thing.
He kept referring to a brother, like he kept referring to somebody else who also had
Yeah.
turned, and it seemed like he was someone very close. So I thought, is it Bodhi? Bodhi?
Actually,
But
by the way, what did you guys think of the perspective changes at the end? I thought it felt jarring to me. I didn't like it.
At first, it was cool, but then it got really boring. Like it felt like she was trying to stretch out the story even more. And then Quinn died, and I was like, wait, who's Quinn? I didn't
Yeah.
care at all.
I
The
know.
most interesting thing was Mira dying. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I actually felt so sad. Like Mira was dying, but then they brought her back to life, and I was like, I think she would have been better off
Resurrection in
dead.
these books is so stupid, and Sarah J. Maas does
I
this probably even worse. And because the thing is like as soon as it happens, I'm like, okay, well, why not bring Quinn back? Like as soon as you resurrect one person, I'm like, I start questioning everything because then I'm like, none of this freaking matters if you can just. I don't even.
Yeah, that
Yeah, she
whole
should have
scene
stayed
where
dead.
why are we still bringing up Liam? That motherfucker's dead 2 books ago.
Oh
Let him
yeah.
die. Let him die. Let him rest in peace. R.I.P. My man. Like, and then it's just like so fucking annoying. It's like so fucking annoying that like Mira. Let Mira die. Let Mira die. Honestly, let Mira fucking. Sorry.
But actually, I would have been a bit upset because Mira is one of the best characters.
She
Like
was
everyone else are like, so dumb. I also had one more complaint. Like they were in the middle of the battle near the temple, and this priestess she comes up to Violet and she's like, "Oh, do you also dye your hair by mixing something?" Something I'm like, what?
Oh yeah.
What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
in the
You're
I
in
middle of
the
their English
battle.
shit.
Why are
Girl,
you guys
what
talking
box
about it?
guys
Yeah.
because it was really good. Like,
Didn't make any sense. She was like fighting, and then suddenly she's like, "Oh, cool hair. Do you also get that color by mixing the petals of something?" Okay, but her stupid hair. We still don't know why her hair is like that.
yeah,
Like,
you
can
know what?
anyone
I don't want to
explain?
know.
Do we
But
really not
why
know?
mention it from
Because
the
I
beginning?
okay. Because I thought that I had maybe forgotten it, so we don't even know what the white hair means. That's crazy.
it's from a partial dedication. That's what I understood. But then why did it change if it's a partial dedication? If they had to dye their hair, why was hers done naturally? So, like, I can't with these questions. You know what? That's it. Like, that's all. See, I'm left with more questions than answers. All of these are
It's
just
because we
questions.
have to endure another 2 books to get the fucking answers that we want, which is stupid. Which is fucking stupid because we shouldn't have these questions in the goddamn first place.
I mean,
Yeah.
the last bit, leaving it at that and then having questions is okay. But like from the beginning, none of the questions were answered. I saw this comment where someone said, if you just read the first 3 chapters and the last 3 chapters, that's basically it. That's all you need to know about the whole book. And I agree because like everything else is just a blur. Like we don't get answers for anything. It's just filler. We could have done without her island hopping because like that didn't really serve a purpose after all, did it? Like they didn't get reinforced. Well, they kind of did at one place, but still, I don't
And
know.
then like the thing like that pissed me off. That pissed me off too because this was like, okay, you're willing to fight everything on everybody for everybody else, and everything happened, and then like I'm just thinking about that last scene where like, oh, an arrow and a kitten. And then I'm so sorry, but that island was stupid as fuck too. Like that island was really, really dumb. Like if you think about it, there was like everything was great, and then there was like 2 negative ones, which okay, fine, whatever. I guess that makes sense. But at the same time, it's just like, what? And then all of a sudden you like, and to my brain is going a million miles per minute. Um, she reacted. Everybody reacted when he died. When he got shot in the air with the heart, everybody fell to their fucking knees and everybody was upset. That's reaction. So why did it end up working? And they're like, compose yourself, compose yourself. Like, you can't. I was just like, what the fuck? Catalina or Kat was like on her knees. She like cried out. Like, that's a fucking reaction. You know what I mean? Like, in my head, I was just like, oh, they lost it. But no, like, it ended up fucking fine. Like, everything was cool. Like, that didn't fucking make sense to me either. The whole island hopping was like fucking stupid too. Honestly, the coolest thing about this entire book was the earrings and how they showed up and how they're like, "Fuck you! You raised our brethren to fucking be a." You know what I mean? Like when they put her in her place about how they they did Andarna. I honestly felt bad for Andarna. I was like, "Wow, you gonna put Violet?
Yeah,
You poor girl."
but how did Andana's egg end up there in the first place? More
And the whole
questions.
Yeah.
questions, exactly questions, which we shouldn't fucking have 3 books in. Like we
Yeah,
still don't understand the veil, and then the thing is, like we still learned nothing about the Iris, whatever. We still learned nothing. We knew
nothing.
about their adolescence and how they kind of grow or anything. How did Andarna end up there? Why are they upset? Where did she go? What's
Yeah,
going on? Like, anyways.
and also like her mom died, but nowhere did she like really mourn her mom. There was like one weird part where she started crying, but that just lasted like 2 minutes, and she just snapped out of it. And then there was like hardly any mention of her mom, which is weird to me because that's her mom, her only living parent, and now
Yeah.
she's lost both of them. But she didn't really seem that shaken up by it, which
Hmm.
was so weird.
And then like completely separate, what kind of pisses me off, and like you kind of mentioned it there, was that you said, oh, like Zayden went 100, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Why, why, as a man who was born and bred to lead a country and be a duke and just be this badass person who leads whatever, why is it him only going 100 when stupid fucking bitch ass Violet is in danger? Why do you not have that same emotion for your people, for your country, for everything else? Why
Yeah,
is it only when that stupid bitch is in danger that you reach a level where you're gonna fucking explode? Do you not
And
feel
and
that for
he
your
he
country?
he
Like, do
used
not
to
go.
have that zeal because that's how we met him, right? Like he was
yeah,
undercover and helping all of his friends and all that stuff. Yeah. He
yeah.
doesn't
And then
really care
Violet
about him
came
anymore.
along.
And it's just,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what makes me so mad about this entire fucking like last book and this book because it's really coming back to me. It's just like it's only about them, and I don't understand how you can build a world and how you can build a story only based on 2 people who completely neglect everything else. That just doesn't make sense to me. Anyways,
I get what she's trying to do. She's like, "Oh, I would burn the whole world for you," sort of
I get it.
trope, but then
It's just
don't
badly
just write
done.
romance
Yeah.
then. Stick with
Right.
romance. It doesn't fit a fantasy war college.
I would be a shitty Violet. I would be a shitty Violet. And to my man, I'm sorry if you hear this, but if this was me and I knew that my man turned venom and he could possibly kill everybody and turn us in the fucking war college, just a little bit of poison at night.
Bullet in the
The
head.
many for the
Yeah.
one. The
It's
many for the
it's
one,
like
and I would do the many.
it's like someone turning zombie. Like we all know there's only one way to fix that. And
Uh, and so
I don't
she
know.
didn't even like try to like with the irids too. Like she didn't even push the subject of like figuring out the antidote or anything else. It was just like,
Right.
Mm,
this is
yeah.
happening. What about the entire purpose of your mission? To figure out how to save
Exactly.
him.
Yeah. That was so stupid. And like they didn't find answers for that also. Like Zayden still went in now. He's full went in.
Darren, it's your turn. Sorry.
Yeah,
It's okay.
sorry. That was
No,
really
yeah, that was
long.
a pretty blended one. That was pretty much most of mine. I have a couple of other nitpicks, but overall this book did suck. The second half was better. Um but only like mildly. Only mildly. Uh geez. So I guess my overall take on this whole book, and it's sad because I don't even know if I'm right about this, because like it's either this what I'm saying, or she just sucks so bad that this isn't even true, and she just really really sucks at writing. But it's kind of like, to me, the purpose of this book is to put all of these questions in your mind, because she needed to give purpose to the next two books, right? Because this was like not supposed to be this long, and she had to like make up all this shit so that we could keep going, right? Because you know what I mean? Like it makes sense to leave all these like unanswered questions so that book 4 can be about the Irids, and then book 5 can be about, you know what I'm saying? But I think that's like it just feels so obvious and gross, and like a waste of our time. And yeah. Uh let's
That's wishful
see.
thinking. Because we're gonna get more of their stupid fuck ass relationship in book 5.
I know. Um I do think that, like, with what that TikTok chick said about how she just doesn't have like the emotional capacity to actually like be like or I don't know about emotional, but like she doesn't have the capacity to actually pull off doing this writing, because I still think that like the bones of this story are like pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's really frustrating that it's like pretty good. But like I even think about like the premise of this entire story, this whole like island hopping thing. I can think of other like mid-series books that are kind of like that, where they like diverge and do one of these quest type of things,
Mhm.
but they're good. Like it's like it's like a good it's done properly. First of all, you have to have like a really really strongly defined and like well thought out MacGuffin, like the thing that they're chasing after. I didn't even really understand. I still don't really understand what they were actually going for with the island hopping, because I mean, I know they like stated it, but the islands were just so damn random that I was like, it was like it really felt like AI driven. Like she chat GPT'd this. Like they were all so random.
Mhm.
Man, I think the thing that pissed me off the most was, I think it was a banquet. I couldn't even tell what the hell was going on, but like when like the guy was poisoning them, but she had already poisoned them back. I
Oh
was
yeah.
like, I couldn't even. I just That was the stupidest thing that I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Full on Chat GPT plot. Like that was
Yeah.
crazy. That was crazy to me.
That
And
also doesn't seem like something Violet would do.
no.
There's no
In
way she
fact,
could think
in
of
fact
that.
she was like kind of talking about how that was evil, like while it was happening to her, and then all of a sudden revealed that she had actually already done it to them. And I think some of their people died, so she killed them. She just murdered them in cold blood with poison. Super doesn't make sense for her character.
Nope.
Do you want to
So,
know what makes me the most sad about fucking Violet?
okay.
Okay. You mean to tell me that this bitch can look back in her Rolodex of fucking rules and regulations, know the exact number, know exactly what it fucking says, but she's not logical enough to fucking put everybody else first or like figure out a
Oh,
plan.
right.
It
Right.
makes no sense to me. You
Yeah.
can't be that smart. You can't be that logical. You can't be that like I don't know the word right now. You cannot be that kind of. I mean, obviously you can. Whatever. I'm not saying, but it just makes no sense to me. She's such an enigma. Like not even an enigma. Honestly, she's so like contradictory, like to herself and her personality, and that's what pisses me off the most. Is that
Yeah.
this person knows every rule and regulation and can fucking recite it and knows what's happening, yet she never follows them, and she's just like all willy-nilly when it comes to everything else. Like, no, guess what? I'm a fucking rule follower, okay? I'm a rule follower. And at the end of the day, when I'm with somebody who's not following the rules, I call them out on that shit. And I know it's not a fucking good habit, and it's a very bad quality of myself, but I fucking do it because I am like, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Yeah.
No, doctor. We can't take doctors to the beach. Sorry. That's how I fucking am. And you can't tell me that Violet knows all of this and still chooses to act in the way she fucking acts. It doesn't make sense to me. It fucking makes no sense to me. Like, oh, she's poisoning them all of a sudden. Like she knew. Like, and it just also didn't make any sense for her to be at that point in time to be like, oh, the chocolate and this, and she puts it all together at the other time. Oh, but it doesn't matter because I poisoned them already. Oh my god, like it's
Oh
fine.
my gosh, look at me. But
Yeah.
you're right. She follows everything else except when it comes to Zayden being a professor, that's when she wants to draw the line. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't date you anymore. You're a professor, and according to code, whatever, section 8, blah, 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 I cannot date a professor. That's where she draws the line. Like, make it make sense. If she can break every other rule, why does she want to follow this one rule?
Yeah. I was just thinking about it as you were like complaining about her, because her core backstory is kind of like Emily Wilde, that like hyper intelligent person, and
Yeah.
she was written really well because
Mm-hmm.
that's her character follows that like core story of her, that she's like an ultra bookworm, sticks to rules. Her entire identity is just knowing all of these things, and it's like Violet has that entire skill set, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not a part. It's not a part of her actual personality, which doesn't make any sense
Yeah.
from what we see in real life. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you meet someone that's like ultra smart,
Yeah.
they're kind of weird. They're bookwormy. You know what I mean? Like it's just and
Yeah.
that's how life is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't really. It's horrible.
You're either
Yeah.
black and white the entire time with some morally gray, or you're morally gray the entire fucking time. But all of a sudden, violence is like, and
Yeah.
like violence is not realistic to me, and it's not realistic to me. It's honestly not realistic to me that everybody around her is a fucking yes man, and that's
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And not
true.
calling her out on this stuff.
No, and me as a woman, I'm telling you, if I was Imogen, if I was Mira, if I was Kat, I'd be like, "You're fucking stupid, you dumb bitch. I'm not fucking sacrificing myself so you can go get your fucking dick. Like he can get his dick wet. Absolutely fucking not. You're
Yeah.
shit. I'm not gonna."
How does that happen? And it's so weird because like on top like your Discord has all these weird ass problems, but it's also somehow the only one that's capable of doing these like thumbs ups and stuff. It's like you have a different version than us. That's
Yeah.
crazy. uh yeah. It's very frustrating.
Yeah.
Um I thought it was like a piece, like there's still a lot of like interesting lore chunks like all over the place, and it's, if anything, it's like more frustrating than not as I see them all. I actually thought that it was cool that Endarna separating from her like made her like emotionally and physically ill. I hadn't like thought about that, but like I thought that was like kind of cool. But then again, yeah, when she just shows right back up again, I'm like, well, then why the hell did there's no. Mm.
I mean, she was ill, but she had time for smut, so was she really ill?
Sure. How ill really was she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um pretty bad. I will say that like I'm happy that we're like caught up, because if we were
Yeah.
like going through this and we had another one of these to read right now, I don't know if I could do it, but I'll probably be down to deal with more of this crap in like a year. But I couldn't do it
Yeah,
right
the
now.
sporadic reading is fine because then we're not getting too immersed and we're like,
Yeah,
it's
but if we
fine.
like if we were just charging through this and we were reading these 5 in a row, oh my gosh, that would be
No way.
oof. That would
Yeah.
be a nightmare.
I was trying to find positive reviews because I want to see what people who think that this book is, I mean, who think this book is good is saying. But most of the people are gushing about a chair scene. I'm like, what chair scene? Did I completely
Chair?
skip over? Yeah, it was a smutty chair scene. I'm like, they're trying to reenact a chair scene. I'm like, did I completely read over that because I don't
I'm not
remember
gonna.
a
I think
chair
I'm
scene.
like 2 of the smut scenes, and I want to say, wait, Julia, are you still there? Oh, I think we lost Julia.
Oh, she's on mute too. Oh, she's back. She's back.
Oh, and she's on mute.
Uh oh.
You to me, she never changed. It could be
Um.
that she like had to like start talking to somebody and she muted out and she's doing something on her phone,
Okay. We'll wait.
or her internet's blowing up again. Yeah, we'll wait a second. Although I did forget what I was saying.
The smutty scenes.
Like it doesn't really matter. I'll just say it. Like I I I full blown. Not only did I like crank it up to like as fast as my app goes, but I was actually just skipping. I had
Uh-huh.
no interest in hearing them. I just wanted to get through it. Like to me, it was just like wasted space. And I knew obviously there was going to be no plot during those chapters, right? So like I was just hitting like the +1 minute until it was done. So
Mm-hmm.
if there was a chair, I would have missed it.
I don't remember a chair, but maybe because there were like what 4 scenes like that? 3?
Yeah.
I don't know. They weren't important.
Is this like is it maybe that like this is like the like is this like the kind of love that like a lot of like women crave? Is that like what it is? Is Zayden like the perfect man or something? Like I don't understand the allure. I'm like trying to understand because obviously it's doing something incredibly right. And we're the weirdos. We are the 0.01% that hate it. And everybody loves it. And like what's either what's wrong with us or what's wrong with those people, and I can't really put my finger on it. I don't know.
See, some places it's like when they were bantering, where Zayden's like, no, sorry, Violet was like, oh, I think they were talking about Bodhi. Damn, I keep Bodhi is also a Sinhalese name, and I'm pronouncing it like that. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, Bodhi. Oh, never mind. You know who I'm talking about, his cousin. And she was like, oh, I picked the wrong Ryerson. And he's like, careful, he's my only living relative. It will be a shame if I lose him too. Like
sure.
their banter is good at certain times.
Those
So
are also like the few parts that I like too.
yeah,
And I think I
yeah.
remember liking that in the first book too. That kind of back and
hmm
forth that they had.
In the
Um
first book, their banter was so good. Like, and they also had that chemistry because will they want this sort of thing? They hadn't like officially hooked up, so that build up was there, that chemistry was there. Now because they've already hooked up, like we know the chemistry exists, so that will
yeah.
they want it doesn't really
Now it's
matter.
just
But she's trying to
exhausting.
draw it out, and
Yeah.
that's what's annoying because at book 3 you don't really need to draw it out. Like I hate comparing it to SJM, but like also she did a really good job. Like before she and Roman got together, they had that chemistry. They got together and they weren't really like, oh, will they, won't they? They were like already a couple and they were good as a couple, right? Like
Right.
she didn't draw that out unnecessarily. Even Farah and Reese, they got together, they stayed together, and that was fine, perfectly fine.
Yeah. And
But just different.
even being in a perspective, I guess like you or I where we're well past that and we're like married on
Yeah,
in those relationships once they were together and married or mated or whatever, and their dynamic changes to more of like
right.
a it felt more genuine. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
maybe if anything the guy probably remained like a little bit too lovey-dovey, but it is what it is.
yeah,
These are romance books, but it wasn't like this just makes no sense. Like they're still on like first date energy
right.
eternally, and it's not
They're
going
still in the
away,
honeymoon
and it's just
phase.
annoying. It's annoying
Right.
because like nobody's like this.
Hey,
Yeah. Hey, Julia, you're back.
Did your phone die?
it did.
We had all of the
Oh.
best conversations while you're gone, and we're not going to tell you what we talked about. So, sex and marriage and
Really? man.
I was trying to say how I was searching for positive reviews, but I couldn't find much because a lot of people were gushing about a chair scene, and I was asking if you guys remember a chair scene. Apparently, that was like the peak smut scene. So there, people are like reenacting this chair scene on TikTok. So I'm like, why did I mean, why do I remember this? Do you
Reenacting.
remember it?
Wow.
Um, I think it's like one of the 2 times they had sex, right? It had to be had the last time.
I
I don't
think
even
it's
remember.
like after
Honestly, those
Dana
sex
left.
didn't even fucking sound good.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't, yeah.
And I skipped him. I wasn't really. Yeah. I was fast forwarding.
Not to be vulgar, but I think it's like absolutely insane that like the whole point of their sex and him not being able to lose control is like him actually coming. Like he could just like finger her into existence and she can like
Yeah.
pour
That's
it all over him,
fine.
but like the breaking point is him coming. Okay?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
That's so
And
dumb.
that this is like even like a thing that we care about while the world's crumbling around them.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't, like
Oh
I.
my gosh.
Oh my god, it's double the amount of time. Please.
Oh my gosh. Before I forget, do you guys remember like when they were in like the final boss level battle scene and like their dragons just got caught under a net? Like these are the
Yeah.
most scariest badass dragons and they were
Yeah.
brought down by nets. Are these
Yeah.
like supercharged nets made out of
Right.
anti-dragon material or something? No, it's
Yeah.
just like how stupid was
Yeah.
that? Nets.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh. Uh. Yeah. I know that was pretty stupid. I still thought like I still think like overall the action is usually pretty entertaining, but then it's like it's sprinkled with really stupid stuff like that more and more so,
Yeah.
and it's getting worse and worse. Everything's getting worse and worse. What are you gonna rate this?
I already rated it 1 star.
You gave it one.
Yeah, I
Like
was like, why
I
rate?
think
I know I'm
I
not
think
gonna
I'm going to as well. It's just that like I'm thinking about other books that I've given 1 star to, and I'm like, is this really that bad? And
Same.
like it may
That's a
I
Nordic book.
yeah, like I'm not sure if I hate it as much as those, but it's more like the way I feel about this is still 1 star because I'm so disappointed.
Yeah.
So that's probably what I'll do as well, but I don't know.
I still think book 2 and book 3 could have been a single book. Like we
Yeah,
could have
100%.
taken away so much of it and just put only the essential parts in it and made it a single book. But because she needed to stretch it out, it's now 2 books and there's so much filler, unnecessary filler.
And she's making money hand over fist
Yeah,
because
she
she did
she's
this.
she's making a money.
Yeah, crazy.
I also just hate how she uses like really flowery wording and everything else, like in the rest of the book. And then when it comes to the conversations between like the characters, it's just like so
Yeah.
dull and like flat. Like
Yeah, I
nobody,
know what you mean.
there's like no, now that I think about it, there's really no like deep conversations between the characters. Like very
Uh
Yeah,
few and far between.
right. Where you're
It's
like
all like super
learning.
superficial, or somebody's like hating something about somebody, or they're trying to figure it out. Everybody's kind of like closed off. They're kind of finding it out, and then they have to process it their own way. But there's really no like
It's just kind of
conversations
like
that.
high school drama banter going
Yeah,
back and forth, like that kind
yeah.
of that kind of depth. Yeah, that
there's
is
She
true.
she could have really written a scene where the 3 siblings spoke about their mom and they grieved for
Oh
her, but
yeah.
there was nothing.
for their
That
dad,
such a
something,
wasted
Right?
opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah.
and so that's what I wanted to talk about, and I totally forgot because Manel brought it up when we were talking about like the books, all of those books that she received from her dad, all of that
Mhm.
information allegedly, and she still went into these islands blind. She still didn't really know. She had like very superficial details, but nothing about the like, inner workings and nothing that would have been really helpful. So, what
Mhm.
was the purpose of the books? What did the books do?
Nothing
Nothing.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
speaking of the islands, I almost forgot another one. I thought the islands were just done so poorly, and it could have been the good premise of a good book, like
Right.
fully. Like the bones are there. She just sucks. But
Mm-hmm.
okay, so you know that whole thing where they pick three fighters and then they pick three
Mm-hmm.
fighters and then they right? And so the premise
Yeah.
is that Violet being the weakest went against their weakest, and then that premise, but then what actually happened is the strong people died, or like their strong people went down first of all, but then also it turned out that Violet was going against the leader,
The
right?
queen of that island. Yeah.
And that's how that went down. That's the stupidest
Right.
thing that I've
Yeah.
ever heard of. That doesn't make any sense. Total AI, total AI chat GPT kind of logic. Like I can't imagine like a person thinking that out and going like, this is a good idea, and then they start typing, right? Like I can't fathom that. Or she's just really that stupid. Dang.
she's that
Maybe I
stupid.
think she's just that stupid.
Oh, we had it solved.
Especially when she's rushed. I will say that. I think that ends up happening a lot with these massive, because I mean, she has to have insane pressure from her publishers at this point, right? Like once there's this much money involved, like these deadlines have to be completely airtight. On top of that, not only is she like having to do this, but then like I'm sure flying around the world like doing press stuff and not
Mm-hmm.
having actual time to, you know what I'm saying? So like she probably just doesn't even have time to write any of this. And I think the reason the
Mm-hmm.
first one was good in the first place is because she was probably writing it for like 10 years. And then
Yeah.
books 2 and 3 she has like 6 months to do each, if that, with everything else that she's having to do, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but it really shows, like it's
Yeah.
just, man. The first one felt a
Oh.
lot more like a labor of love, and these ones are just trash level. Yeah. Oh
What were
wait,
you gonna say, Manila?
you're either muted.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
I have one more point, and that was on Dan. Did you guys feel like he was a completely different character? Because
Yep,
in
Yeah.
book one, he
yep,
was her best friend, and there was
yep,
so much conversation, and
yep.
there was a relationship. In book three, it's like, oh, Dan's like not even an NPC, something further removed. Like they hardly
Yeah,
spoke, they hardly interacted. It was weird. Like it wasn't Dan at all.
yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. I don't even know what to say about that, because that is gross behavior, but at the same time, I don't even care because I don't care about any of these people. But
Yeah.
like, you're right. That is a big inconsistency. I did notice that.
Yeah.
Me too.
I wonder if other people changed, but I just didn't even care to notice. Like was Rhiannon the same? Was I don't even know. Probably more so, but yeah, him especially. There was like a massive swing, and it's weird. It's awkward.
Yeah. And he didn't really get his redemption arc, did he? Like,
No.
That would have explained this change or something to that effect, or
yeah, but like, I don't know. Maybe it happened in book two and I completely missed it. But I don't think so because he's being so shady. Anyway, I can't even explain it.
now that I think about it, his signet is really really cool,
And we
Right?
don't even get
and we don't get any of that.
Yeah.
He's just there. Yeah,
any of it.
what a shame.
Yeah.
Mm, it's too bad.
Never mind. I can just keep going on
I know
complain.
it's
Like
not.
I can
I know. I'm thinking of some, but it's just pointless. It's
it
not. It's
is.
not even really worth our. It's
Yeah.
pretty
I
lame.
was gonna say the politics is so dumb too. Like there's a king
Politics are
and what is
dumb.
he really doing?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
Okay, I'm gonna stop this.